Battleship. Last week, Scott did the plot. So, Justin, what is Battleship about? G24.
Oh, man. All right. Battleship is... It's supposedly a translation of a Hasbro game into a film. How well that works is up to you to decide. But the plot of the game is that in 2005, NASA finds a planet in what they call the Goldilocks zone, which means that it's in an orbit of a star that puts it in a position where there could be liquid water and life on it. And so they start a program to send a signal to that planet in the hopes of, if there's life there, contacting it. Several years later, we have our hero, Kitsch? What's his first name?
Taylor Kitsch.
For some reason, his last name always sticks in my head, but his first name just flies out. Taylor Kitsch is an underachieving slacker whose brother's in the Navy, and through what is a fairly funny series of events, ends up joining the Navy to serve with his brother. As the bulk of the movie gets started, there is a competition called RIMPAC, which is a naval contest between the Pacific Rim nations where their navies get together and have war games. While this is going on, suddenly some invaders from outer space crash land into the ocean. Much explosions and things ensue. Lots of people die. Lots of flag waving, on and on and on. Do our heroes survive this, or is the Earth about to be invaded and taken over? Scott, why don't you go ahead and tell us your thoughts on this?
This movie started out a lot better than I expected it to. I really felt like I liked Taylor Kitsch's character and his brother and the girl that's in the story. It was a lot of fun. The opening scene before any of the goofy stuff started happening, and by goofy stuff, I'm not saying that in a bad manner, but the meat of the story takes a little bit longer to get going than I thought it would. I had a lot of fun in the beginning of the movie. When stuff started going down, it became more of a visual spectacle and a lot of action, lots of stuff blowing up, very Michael Bay-ish, even though there was no Michael Bay in it. It started to feel very much like a pro-military or
recruitment film.
Recruitment film, yeah, exactly. Like you're watching a Marines or Navy, go Navy. I mean, it's just so gung-ho. And that's not really a bad thing, but it's just not what I wanted in this movie. I wanted just purely action, and I felt there was a lot of cheesy, goofy lines in this that just that was intended to make people want to stand up and cheer for the military. This is not me knocking the military in any way. I want to make that abundantly clear. I am not against our military.
Wow, Tommy.
I don't know. It just very much felt like a recruitment film, like to make people want to join up. And
Aaron, did it make you want to join up?
No, I already did that once. I'm not doing that again.
There's a whole, I don't know if is it spoilery to talk about I don't know if it's really a big reveal, but do you know what scene I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
even know what the fuck you're even talking about yet.
What big spoiler is in that movie?
Who runs the ship at the end, or at the when they have the?
No, I mean I would leave that.
Yeah,
because I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
There's
all right, because I'm the only one on this board who hasn't seen it.
Uh-huh.
All right.
On this board,
you guys have seen the John Carter movie, and you've raved about it. You said it was a really good movie, even though.
Well, I raved about it. Scott was shitty.
I raved about it.
Yeah.
Aaron liked it too.
So how does Taylor Kitsch carry this movie? Because he's the one that's promoting. As far as the previews goes, he's the one.
He's the star. He is the star of this.
I thought he was.
Does he do just as good a job in this as he did in John Carter?
I think he does better.
I agree.
Honestly, I thought he was pretty spot on. It's too bad his agent's probably minutes away from firing him because he's had 2 mega flops.
Well, I don't think his agent has to, because apparently, he's got $200 million plus movies that aren't making the money.
Yeah,
it ain't his fault.
No, neither one is his fault. I mean, he did very well in both of them, in my opinion.
He still got paid, so.
Well, yeah, but his future depends on how well they do, man. Yeah. It really does. Did you like the movie, Scott?
I did. I had fun with it. It's pretty much what I expected from it, but I didn't go into it with very high expectations. Mm-hmm. It was fun. Had a couple laughs, especially at the beginning. It's not one I'll see again, probably on even on DVD. But I'm not disappointed I went and saw it. I'd have paid $5 to see it.
I really liked it.
Did you really?
I thought it was really fun. I had a lot of fun, especially the Taylor Kitsch. I thought was really good. I just thought he was entertaining, and he did a really good job of going from screw up to leader. You know, and usually in those movies they don't do a very good job of that transition, but I thought he did a very good job. The aliens were completely from Hasbro's Transformers line. They looked exactly like a Transformer, and then you had the people that had their little halo suits and were running around. I mean, nothing in the alien side of it was very original, to be perfectly honest. I just think that they made a very fun movie. It really felt like Michael Bay's movies from a few years back. You know, when he's doing like Armageddon and that kind of stuff. It felt like that kind of movie. Just fun, a bunch of guys getting together, working hard, trying to overcome, blah, 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 blah.
See, I thought the concept of the aliens being a lot more humanoid than you thought they were was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, but
with a twist.
But okay, here's how the story plays out is they try to figure out a way to make this based on the game, but its own thing, right? So
we laughed.
So you only get five aliens or whatever it is that land in this certain section, and they basically close off this whole section, which is, the islands of Hawaii and that sort of thing. But of course, they managed to just keep out the entire Navy fleet, except for like three ships, and an actual battleship. Which is funny because the Navy doesn't actually have battleships anymore. Just so everybody knows, they actually don't have them. They just have the relics at Pearl Harbor and whatnot.
Well, but don't they talk about that at the beginning of the movie, the difference between a battleship and a destroyer?
They do, but it's kind of funny because everybody that I've talked to that had seen it didn't seem to understand that and probably wasn't paying attention because they really just gloss over it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a ship on the water blowing aliens up. The plot really doesn't matter anyway. But how they managed to get them in this small area so that at some point during the film they can have that obligatory scene where they're like F-24 fire,
and they do it,
and they do it. And they do it. And it didn't seem nearly as awful as I thought it was going to be.
No, they actually pulled it off pretty well.
But we all did laugh our asses off. I just thought it's a good little family flick. I had a lot of fun. If you're not into superheroes, because that's kind of what's taking over right now, this is kind of a fun flick to take your kids to. I gave it 7 out of 10. I liked it more than I liked the last 2 Transformers movies, honestly. And Justin, what did you give it?
As a writer, and in particularly as a science fiction writer, the story in this film offended me in so many ways. There are so many logical inconsistencies and stupid reasons for things to be. For instance, and I am not spoiling anything, at one point in the movie, they say that these aliens and these advanced ships that have crossed who knows how many light years to get here can't see them in this ocean. Can't see these Navy ships. These are an advanced species capable of traveling vast distances with technology we can't even dream of, and they cannot see a couple of naval ships in the ocean. They don't explain it. They don't say how they can't see them. But I guess since the sun has gone down, their eyes can't see these ships. So it makes no fucking sense that these aliens are as ineffectual as they are. It makes no sense that these aliens that have a technology that they do are relying on these chain balls that go zipping around and these canisters that they fling from a mortar instead of any kind of energy weapon or smart weaponry. It boggles my mind the amount of stupidity that went into the story. I can't even begin to describe the amount of times I had to roll my eyes and go, Jesus, this is so contrived. But I fucking enjoyed almost every goddamn minute of it. It is dumb. It is the Kim Kardashian of summer action films. It's stupid. It's obnoxious. It has almost no reason for being. And yet I am completely captivated by it. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And by the time it was done, I enjoyed damn near every minute of it.
Same here. I would agree.
I was shocked. What really shocked me is how they actually made it work as a Battleship movie. That you were talking about, the calling out the number and letter of where they need to fire and fire. I had no idea how they were actually going to tie this into the game other than enclosing a space. But they found a way to do it, and even though it's a stupid reason, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense, it worked. It actually really worked. So all stupidity of it aside, and there is so much, I don't even know where to start, really. It is still fun. I think Kitsch is very charismatic, and I feel so bad for the guy that he has really been thrust into these big movies that, for reasons outside of his control, are flopping. I think he's got a lot of charisma. I loved Skarsgård as his brother. I think the guy's fantastic on True Blood, so seeing him in this movie was a delight. I'm sorry, Brooklyn Decker, she could just sit there reading the phone book, and I would be captivated by her. She is so lovely and a more talented actress than I ever would have given her credit for, having not seen this film. And I especially like Steve Jablonsky's score. You mentioned Transformers. One of the reasons it reminded me of that, other than all of the visual cues it stole from Transformers, is the music. And Steve Jablonsky wrote the scores for all 3 Transformers movies. He scored this one too. And so I think that's kind of where you get a more of that vibe.
I agree with you 100% on the score. It was
and
fantastic.
the Gears of War video games.
Yes, Gears of War 2 and 3. He didn't score
Just
the
thought I'd
first
throw that-
one.
Just thought I'd throw that in there for Scott.
Yeah.
So to answer,
it works.
So to answer the question, what did you give it?
I'd give it a 7.
See, with your the first 3 minutes of what you were saying, I was waiting
It's
for
stupid.
scathing.
Yeah,
It
me
is
too.
dumb, and unfortunately, I have, and I'm coming to think it's a very unique capacity. I have a capacity to disassociate in my head smart good from dumb good and enjoy them both in their own films. I can enjoy a very intellectual film, and I can also enjoy just a stupid one. This is in that latter category, and it is nothing but coincidences and cliches, but they pull it off. Peter Berg does a pretty nice job keeping this thing going. It's interesting visually. It's fun. Fuck it. I know people are going to hate all over and shit on it, and that's fine. But I seriously really enjoyed it. Peter Berg, though, was really dipping into the Michael Bay bag quite often.
Yeah,
though.
except I understood all the action in this movie. So Justin gives it a 7. I give it a 7. Scott, what'd you give it?
I give it 5.
5. All right. Seems like John Carter all over again.
I don't hate it. It's just something that was a one and done kind of thing for me.
I just thought it was
I
fun.
enjoyed it.
I'm with Justin
Yeah.
exactly. Same exact verdict. All right, well, that's Battleship.